Howdy, folks. Story time coming your way one more time. Every time I look in the camera, I have no idea what type of hat Sally Star used to wear. She'd been probably dead and buried for 30 years. But I don't know why. Every time I put on this hat, I feel like Sally Star. So I'm going to be your star of the show today, and I'm going to tell you about a story. The It would help if I remembered the story. So let me just pause this for 1 second. Oh yeah, now I remember. My father passed away August 30th, 1998. So through the funeral and all that stuff, kind of connect with family members. So I get talking to my uncle Gerald, and he flew up from Texas to Delaware for the funeral, and we kind of talked. And then after that, we stayed in touch a lot. We had a lot in common. We were like he was a pretty funny guy. He real big into the like computers, and there was this thing called ICQ. I don't even know if that thing's still around. It was like a messenger type service. He tells me to get on this IC. I don't know, but anyway. So so we get talking, and he tells me I used to like to gamble a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Every once in a while I might dabble. Here and there, but um, he gets talking to me about. It was so funny because I think his friend's name was Gary Wayne Garrison. There used to be a small casino out in Las Vegas called the Lady Luck Casino, and I guess this guy was like the general manager or something like that. Um, my uncle's name was Gerald Wayne Galton, and my name Gary Wayne Galton. Unfortunately, when you're an infant, you can't pick your names. People pick them for you. So I would have liked Bert or Hank or something, cool like that. But no, I get Gary like Gary Cooper. Come on, man, what's wrong with you people? So I gets to talking a lot with Uncle Gerald. We get chit chatting a lot. We're like bread and butter. We're talking a lot, and he says let's hook up with Gary Garrison. I promise you, because I told him I used to do really really well at Roulette in Atlantic City. I was pretty good. I was pretty aggressive, and kind of got to understand mathematics, and that's a pretty good game. If you understand percentages, you can do pretty well there. And you got to read the tote board and understand. It takes a lot of learning. You just can't go in there one night and expect to win a lot of money because that's not happening. But anyway, the uh, we get to talking, and he says, "Hey," he goes, "Why don't we meet up on my buddy Gary? I think his name is Gary Garrison. I'm pretty sure that's what he called him, Gary Garrison." He goes, he goes, "You fly to Vegas, I'll fly to Vegas, and then I know he'll send the limo to pick us up, and he really wants to rate you on roulette and all this." And he's saying, I guess he had been talking to the guy, whatever. And I said, Uncle Jared, that sounds okay. I said, but let's think about Plan B. Why don't rather than both of us pay for airfare, why don't you just fly to Delaware, and then or he was driving into I think it was a beat up Baltimore airport. Pretty sure that's where he flew into. I said, why don't you just fly up here? No sense for both of us paying airfare and all that stuff. So I said, and then if we need to, we can come back to the house, whatever, chill out. So he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. So we prepared this like months ahead of time. And so I'm pretty sure this was around the month of April. Don't quote me on the month, but it was in 1999. So we actually it might have been, I think it was a little bit colder. It might have been February or March. Let's just, for the sake of the story, let's say March. But we go to Atlantic City. This is so funny. I'm in a. Was I still in the cast? I think I was still in somewhat of a cast or a walking boot. I forget what it was because I had my Achilles surgery. That was like a mess. But my dad. Yeah, I don't think I was in a walking boot anymore. But I know my leg wasn't 100% recovered. But so he we had a little bit of money when my dad passed away. I'm not like a whole lot of money. Trust me, it wasn't a whole lot there. But so he really wanted to do blackjack and slots. Well, first of all, slots is like like anybody who wants to do slots, you just need to be slapped in the head. Every once in a while, you hear about somebody, but like percentages are just awful in slots. Blackjack's pretty good if you know black. I don't know blackjack that well, but I've always heard the two highest. I'm not 100% certain on. I think the number one highest opportunity to win. I think they call it baccarat, whatever they call that thing, and then I think roulette is the second highest because you can control. I don't know how baccarat works. I've seen it. I've never played it. I don't like losing money to learn. It's just not me. I learned roulette and I understand roulette and I know how I can manipulate the game, so to speak. So anyway, when I would sit down at a roulette table, I kid you not, I could sit there for easily 8 hours without even getting up to go to the restroom or nothing. I was like G Money dialed in because G Money trying to make money. So I'll never forget. My uncle goes off and he does his thing, and then he comes back a little bit later, and he wanted to borrow some money. I forget what I gave him, like $500. I don't remember what it was, but he borrowed some money. So he borrowed money a couple times on that trip. It was all good. We're all up there to have fun, but I'll never forget. He comes back, and he was standing behind me. I didn't even know he was standing behind me, and I would put. I don't know if you understand how I'll give you an example. I used to play the bottom third, 12 numbers, and every once in a while I might do 0 or 00, depending on what type of table you're at. If you're at a high rollers table, you only have a 0, so you have basically 37 numbers. If you are not at a high rollers table, you have 38 numbers, so you have a 1 in 38 chance of hitting. Then if you go odd or even, black or red, then you have other ways to manipulate the board. But anyway, I used to, my birthday is July 29th, so it was black 29 down in the lower third, and I always bet 5 chips in the middle, 5 on the sides. And then I went really heavy on the bottom third based on what the tote board had been doing. If it had been really, really, if there had been a lot of trending towards the middle or the upper, excuse me. Hold on, let me take a sip here. If it had been trending a lot in the upper 2/3, I would just lay off for a while, just watch, and then you can watch and understand trends, and then you can bet heavy. So I would do that. So apparently he came. I guess he had lost all his money real quick, and he was coming back to daddy for his sugar daddy for more money. But I didn't know. But he was behind me, so I hit one time for $4.95. He's behind me. I don't even know he's back there. So they put the thing on there. So it's straight up and then all the sides. So it was I had $25 on it. So I'm pretty sure it was $4.95 is what it paid. So so he's still behind there. I don't know he's behind there. So I leave that there and I do my other little thing, and all this stuff. Then bam, black 29 hits again. I hit 4 numbers in a row that all paid $4.95 in like I don't even know, like less than 5 minutes, I made like 2 grand. He thought, oh my God. Matter of fact, this is so funny. I got to go back in retrospect and tell you, this is so funny. But so I hit like 2 grand in like 5 minutes. But prior to that, prior to him showing up, I was kind of like I was getting kind of hurt. I was like up and down, up and down. But no, nothing significant like what happened there. So this is so funny. Prior to we had booked this trip to Atlantic City probably, I don't know, around the beginning of the year. I want to say like December, January. I don't remember when it was exactly. But I called the Showboat Casino, and that was my preferred one. It was right next to the Taj Mahal that Donald Trump had owned. But I liked the Showboat because it was so cool. It was like riverboat atmosphere, just real. And it was the furthest, most north casino in Atlantic City at that time. I haven't been there forever, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's still there, what's still not there. But so I called them and I said, hey, my uncle, he's flying in from Texas. He's a big oil tycoon. I said, can you, I said, here's my, they had all my information, and they could see I'd been there, quite a bit. I said, can you accomplish something pretty nice? I said, he's a pretty nice guy. We reconnected after my father's death, and they're like, yeah, we can take care of you. So I pick him up in Baltimore. We drive and we're talking. I don't. If you never met a true Texan, they like they talk to anybody. You can be walking there, hey, whatever. They Texans just talk to everybody. They never stop talking. They just, I'm part Texan, and you can figure it out now. But the so we go to this Woodstown diner. I'll never forget. And we're just in there just to stop to grab, like, I forget what we, like mashed potatoes and gravy with meatloaf. I forget what we stopped to get. We're just a little tiny town, Woodstown, pretty cool place, But anyway, oh my God, my uncle, he's talking. Hey, he talked to these people like he had known them for like 40. And after like 2 hours, I'm like, Uncle Gerald, man, we got to roll, man. So I I'm trying to remember how I think I went to. I know we didn't have cell phones back then. I'm pretty sure I went to a payphone and I had to call the casino. I was like, hey, we're still coming. We're running late. My uncle's like, he ran into some problem. His problem is like his mouth. But anyway, it's like, no problem. Everything's good. I appreciate you calling. I'm like, great. We show up at the casino, and the people at the check-in desk, like, oh, yeah, Mr. Golden, we apologize. We had to rent your room out, or something like. They said something like that. We had to reassign your room or something like that. But we've upgraded you to another suite. I'm like, all right, thank you. I appreciate it. Everything's cool. So the they're like, yeah, we've got they said like a king size bed and a fold out sofa. And I'm like, man, that's an upgrade. I'm thinking like that kind of sounds kind of cheesy. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking like, oh, like, whatever. It's his fault. Big dummy next to me. He's just talked for 2 hours. We go up to this suite. I kid you not. This was Mac Daddy suite. I mean, it was like my uncle thought like I was somebody. I mean, like he looked around and he kept looking around, kept walking around. We had, I kid you not, back then it was probably at least like a 60-inch screen TV, big glass chandeliers. Our suite was on the 7th floor. It had a wraparound balcony. Part of it faced the Atlantic Ocean. Part of it faced the northern Atlantic City, where there was no more high-rise casinos or anything like that. It was just unbelievable. Like everywhere, every room you went into, there was a phone. You could go to do number 2 in the little bathroom, and you could pick up the phone and call in a bet. It was crazy. Like I kid you not, I have no idea what that went for back. It had to be at least 3,000. It was 2 suites combined together. It was just unbelievable. Like at first when they said we had to upgrade you, and then they talked to me, I'm like, I sounded kind of chintzy, but Anyway, so there's more to this story, but it could make it a little too long to upload, but it was crazy. So he ended up borrowing a bunch of money from me that I never did see. You know, it's kind of what happens, when you're doing that kind of thing. But we did have fun. I will say we went from Atlantic City, New Jersey, to State College, Pennsylvania, directly next to Penn State's football facility, just so he could meet a lady, somebody he'd been talking to on ICQ. So I'm not even going to get in that part of the story, but it was so funny. Oh my God. Atlantic City. Oh my God. Like in 4 spins, I made like $2,000. I was like, boom, boom. I'm like, 5 minutes. It was like, man, I look back. And he's patting me on the shoulder and putting his hand out, looking for a hand. It was funny. Like, where can you go and make $2,000 in 5 minutes, But I wish I could do that every day, but that was a funny time. That was definitely an adventure. So, G Money. G Money has money. G Money lose money. That's what happens.